High school is already terrifying. Nobody needs vampires, werewolves, and sea creatures roaming the cafeteria when puberty alone is a nightmare. Yet Monster High does ask, what if instead of jocks, cheerleaders, and band kids, your classmates were Frankenstein's daughter, a mummy princess, and a swamp girl with chlorine algae? This isn't just a toy line. This is sociology in steroids. Monster High is a bizarre cultural artifact where Manta decided to match together Mean Girls, the Monsters, and a hot topic Clarice rack, and somehow it works. Frankenstein stitched together like an SD project gone wrong is somehow the most optimistic girl in the entire franchise. She literally 15 days old when the series begins, which means she can literally drive, but is already expected to ace high school. Frankie spends her time zapping herself with loose electric currents while also trying to figure out the eternal mystery of algebra. Her biggest flaw? Her arms and legs fall off more than Wi-Fi in the college dorm, but she always laughs it off. Ha ha ha. My hand just fell in a glumatic bowl. Quirky. Honestly, she's the poster child for toxic positivity. Dracula is Dracula's daughter, which sounds terrifying until you realize she's a strict vegan. Yes, a vampire who faints at the sight of blood. Imagine being undead for centuries and still not knowing how protein works. Her father must be so disappointed. Dracula spends most of her time talking about fashion bashing her boyfriend drama like she's starting in the real house of Transylvania. But I'll give her this. She's normalized being pale before TikTok filters made it trendy. Claudine Wolf is the werewolf with the best weave in all of animation. Her hair alone could fund a shampoo commercial empire. She's stylish, she's fierce, and she will absolutely maul you if you disrespect her shoes. Her biggest issue? A strict curfew. Imagine having the premier urge to howl at the moon, but your mom's like, no Claudia, bed by 9. High school athletics could use her, but instead she's stuck arguing over where the leopard print counts as neutral. Cleo Denal is literally a mummy princess who walked around her tomb and straight into a cheerleading audition. 5 millennia on Earth, and she spends most of her time spreading gossip in the locker room. Her entire personality screams, I peaked in ancient Egypt. She bosses everyone around, but somehow we can all respect her because she has royal energy. Imagine surviving centuries of plagues, curses, and pyramids, only to lose your boyfriend to a fish gill with gills. Lagunia Blue is part fish, which means she smells faintly of seaweed 24/7. She tries to be sporty, fashionable, and fun, but you can't really be intimidating when you risk drying out if you forget your moisturizer. Her biggest fear? Seawater pools. Her biggest dream? A boyfriend who owns a human fighter. Still, she's sweet, bubbly, and proof that Ariel from The Little Mermaid really missed out on a career in varsity swim. Grulia is a zombie, but instead of being scary, she basically the nerdy girl who carries the group project but only growls in zombie language, but somehow everyone understands her. Imagine trying to do math while in your brain is decomposing. That's declaration. If it weren't for Gloria, the rest of Monsters High would have failed her freshman year. She's the friend who reminds you that there was homework, which makes her both a hero and the worst kind of villain. At its core, Monster High isn't about monsters at all. It's about being a teenager. Every character represents some aggravated high school stereotype. Frankie is the clueless freshman, Dracula is the pretty overachiever, Claudia is the artist fashion designer, Claudia is the popular queen bee, Luria is the athletic one, and Gloria is the nerd. Except instead of pimples and SAT prep, They worried about curses, garlic allergies, and limbs falling out of PE class. Let's not ignore the obvious. Monster High is also a brilliant money-making machine. Every lesson of be yourself, be unique, and be free comes with a $29 price tag at Toys R Us. With Claudia new outfit, that will be $15. Need Dracula's Bat Pit? Another $10. Want to live the lifestyle of Frankenstein? Better hope your parents got a bonus this year. Basically, Monster High told kids to embrace their quirks while also convincing their parents to embrace credit card debt. Monster High walked so e-girls, goth kids, and TikTok alt aesthetics could run. It made eyeliner wigs sharper than swords mid-mainstream. It taught children that being spooky is not just seasonal, it's a lifestyle. Without Monster High, half of today's Instagram feeds wouldn't exist. Also, let's be honest, these dolls were cooler than Barbie. Barbie could be a doctor, a lawyer, and even an astronaut, but could slay in a mummy dress while resurrecting her dead ancestors? Didn't think so. At the end of the day, Monster High is less about monsters and more about surviving high school with style. It's dramatic, absurd, and a little bit genius. It's about showing that everyone, even swamp creatures and vampires, deal with teenage angst. Final verdict, Monster High is the greatest parody of narcissists ever created. It's what happens when horror movies and fashion magazines collide in a blender. And honestly, I'd rather attend Monster High than my real high school. At least there, cafeteria food probably comes out with a side of eternal damnation.